It's 2 years since you were appointed the IGG.
Yes.
In the last 2 years, what so far have you achieved as an IGG in terms of fighting graft?
I think that what I would say was the most important policy shift, if you like, is involving the public, in engaging the public directly and inviting the public to join the war against corruption. Because that's the only way it can be won. If it is a people's war, people have to realize that they are victims of corruption, because corruption diverts resources from services into pockets of few people. So I think what we have achieved in the past 2 years is to rally the people, to raise the awareness of the public that corruption hurts them. They are victims, and therefore they must join the war. And I think to a large extent that awareness is created.
So you have created awareness. When you took over the job, or when you were appointed by the president, did you set targets for yourself in terms of what you need to achieve in the first maybe 2 years?
Well, first of all, you need to understand when you take office, you need to sit in the office and feel it and understand it. That takes some good time. And as I said, traditionally, the work of the Inspectorate of Government was seen as take up arms and hunt the corrupt and take them to court. But when we came there, we said there are many, actually even when you look at the Constitution, the functions are very clear. The very first function is to foster strict adherence to the rule of law and principles of natural justice. This presupposes that if people respected the law and followed the law, then there would be no corruption. Because corruption happens at the tail end of a process that begins by violating of laws, rules, or regulations.
So you, in other words, in 2 years, you have managed to convince or sensitize the public about corruption and its dangers.
Yes.
Now you're concentrating on public service.
On the public service, because that's where the game.
That's where the game
playground.
is. So what's your approach in terms of when it comes to public servants? What's your approach?
Different messages. There are decision makers, the ones who say, let us give the contract to so and so. Those have a different message. Then there are the operatives, the middle managers. They don't make decisions, but they are the foot soldiers. Their message, the accounting officers, those who make the decisions, our message is we are rallying the public to understand that it's you who has their money, and the public should be on the lookout about your lifestyle. If your lifestyle does not match your known source of income, then you're a suspect for abuse of public resources. Then the middle managers, we tell them they are calling you small fish, because when we look for evidence, we don't find evidence with the top people there because they use you. We get you the small fish, we jail you because you are the people who sign, you are the people who take the money, you are the people who do the dirty work, and you suffer the consequence. So look out and say, no, we can't do this. And then there are the lower cadres there, whom we say, you have a lot of information. The drivers, you are the people who take these bosses to check out their sites in the evening. You know all their businesses, you know their houses, you know their whatever. It's because they're building all these houses that yesterday you took your mother to hospital and there was no medicine.
You are pushing for lifestyle audit for mostly public servants. And it's where you saw that actually that would lead you to where you want to see this country reach in terms of fighting graft. But the president was very clear. He said, you know, if you start checking their lifestyle, these guys are going to now take what they have stolen and invest it outside or abroad.
Yes.
And so he said you must trade cautiously.
Yeah.
So how do you now handle this?
And I think he was right. People can siphon. A lot of people siphon resources outside the country. But His Excellency said, be cautious as you go after them, you know. But then...
Cautious in which way? It's either they did it and you take them, you recover resources,
even if
and that's
if you are, for instance, hunting down a dangerous animal, you don't get head on. If you go head on, it will kill you. You surround it, you go around it. So, but most of all, I need to say that the president launched the lifestyle audit. But we have since explained to His Excellency the President that the whole world is out there as watchdogs. So we have regional and international protocols and conventions that can even follow and trace property that have been siphoned outside, and even there are protocols that can repatriate them.
Do you have the capacity to trace them? Because it's one thing of wanting to trace them,
yes,
but it is also the other to have the ability to trace them.
We can trace them, but we need stronger legislation. And as I said, it's a war. It's not a walk in the park. Whenever we meet a challenge, then we sit and find a way of confronting.
Thank you so much for rendering us your time.
Thank you for having me on the show.